Hello, good afternoon, welcome. Welcome to Tax Filing 101 with Hamilton Tax Help. Today we're going to learn about benefits and credits available to individuals and families. So welcome, Matt. I'm going to send you live right now.
Thanks. How's it going, everybody? And if we are live and good to go, then I'm going to start with the first slide. So Nancy, if it's okay, I'll probably just say next slide when we go to next slide. Is that cool?
Sounds great.
Great. Okay. So how's it going, everybody? Welcome to our second presentation here. My name is Matt Thompson. I work for a project called Hamilton Tax Help. We are a financial empowerment program through the Social Planning and Research Council. Our partners are also the City of Hamilton, the United Way of Halton Hamilton, and the Hamilton Roundtable for Poverty Reduction. So that's kind of who we are. We're a neat project that has existed in the city for 3 years now. We've worked with about 3,000 people, and we have helped people access about $9 million in benefits and refunds. So that's kind of us. That's me, if you're wondering who I am. I'm not an accountant. We call ourselves financial empowerment workers. And like I said, our big thing is that we work with folks, and we really work with people who are making less than about $45,000 a year. And our goal is just to make sure that they're getting all the benefits and refunds that are out there. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So we can go to the next slide. All right. So once again, this is Tax Filing 101, benefits and credits. If you joined us last time, we were talking about getting ready to file. So if you're watching this today and you're like, all right, I'm ready to go, but you haven't watched the first one, just make sure you watch the first one, and it will be fantastic. All right, next slide, please. So the goals for today are to review with you what are the benefits and credits that you get from filing your taxes. So we're going to go over what the benefits are. We're going to go over what the credits are. We're not going to cover everything because, once again, I'm not an accountant. I'm here with a financial empowerment program. We're here to make sure that most people get the things that they're supposed to be getting. So if you're looking for something more specific, there are fantastic accounting firms across the city. I highly recommend them. But understand that we're coming from a financial empowerment perspective. And so that's kind of what we want to do, is just make sure that a whole bunch of folks are getting the money they're supposed to be getting. That's kind of our goal. Is I'm going to walk you through the credits and the benefits. The one thing I do want to say, though, is that we will not be going over the COVID-related benefits that have come out during this year. That's a very specific and different topic. And so what we always recommend people, because they're changing almost every week, is that you go to canada.ca, go to the COVID benefits, and they can kind of walk you through all of that. But because those are changing every week, and because they're so new, within the context of this presentation, what we want to do is we want to make sure that you're ready to go and getting everything from filing. So we're talking about tax filing today. Next slide, please. So that's us again. Once again, 365-366-1767. If you need any assistance after you hear this presentation, if you want to follow up with us, phone call is best, and we can kind of go from there. And once again, we'll just go over a bit about who we are. So go to the next slide. So Hamilton Tax Help, before COVID, when we were open to the public, we were located across from the center on Barton, down at Barton and Ottawa. And next slide, please. And that is our building that we're in there, and you can see the door that we're at. So we are not currently open to the public due to COVID, but do check in with us as we get closer to tax season, because things are changing week by week. We're recording this in the middle of December, and so if you're watching this in the future, please do contact us. Please give us a call. Our office might be open or it might not be, so things can change very fast. But with that in mind, I'm very excited to get to the meat of the presentation. Next slide, please. All right, so part one. We're going to give an overview of the filing related benefits and credits. Next slide, please. So the first thing that I want to talk about is what are the credits that we kind of get that you are able to access when you file. And so by that, I mean, you get your papers together, Maybe you come see us at Hamilton Tax Help. Maybe you use your own software. Maybe you go to one of the commercial filing agencies. It's all good. But there are a number of refunds and benefits that you get when you go and you file. And the first thing I really want to talk about is the climate action incentive. So the climate action incentive is there for this filing year, because we don't know the numbers for next year. You're looking at a refund of $224 for a lone adult. For a family of 4, it's $448. And that just gets added into your refund. So when you get your refund and you're going through the papers, you'll see a thing called climate action incentive. It happens automatically. So you get it at filing. It's a good little bit of money. Just make sure that the person that's doing your filing has that within the context of the work that they're doing. There are ways that people can make mistakes while filing and that you don't get it. So once again, if you're filing with someone and you're like, hey, what about the climate action incentive? Just get them to go over it with you and make sure that you're able to access it. Next slide, please. The next benefit that's really important is the Canada Child Benefit. So this is done if you register your child at birth, so if you have a newborn, or it's also given to people who are primary caregivers who are legally, physically, and financially responsible for a child. This is anyone under the age of 18. The Canada Child Benefit is calculated every July, and going into next year, it could potentially be worth up to $6,600 per year, paid monthly. And the big thing is that if you emigrate to Canada and you become a permanent resident, it's also really important to apply for the CCB as well. If you're someone who hasn't filed previous years, the Canada Child Benefit is really important because the Canada Child Benefit sticks around. So if you haven't filed for 2 or 3 years and you have a number of children, it's really important that you go, you get your taxes done, and you get those back years of Canada Child Benefit. So we call that CCB. If you have any questions about applying for CCB, definitely come talk to us, come talk to any of the social services that work around this kind of stuff, and they can make sure that you are able to access it. So that's the CCB, potentially up to $6,600 per year. Another benefit that's very much worth making sure that you're getting. Next slide, please. So the next slide that we're going to talk about, the next benefit we're going to talk about is the Ontario Trillium benefit. So the OTB is calculated at filing, so that's when you're getting your taxes done, and it is a payment to you based on the amount of rent that you pay. So if you are getting your taxes together and you're like, oh, I have these rent receipts, or I'm able to access these rent receipts, it's really important that the person that's doing your taxes knows that you have paid rent in the previous year. And depending on how much rent you pay, your Trillium benefit can go up. If it goes above a certain threshold, it is paid monthly. So once again, it's really important that you have those rent receipts if you're paying rent, or that you're at least able to access those rent receipts. So that's the Trillium benefit. The one thing I'll say is that if you file and you don't have access to those rent receipts, or you're not claiming rent, if you're making below a certain income threshold, which is around $30,000 per year, you'll still get Trillium, but it will be a one-time payment. So that is Trillium. Next slide, please. After that is the GST and HST rebate. And so what this is for folks who are below an income threshold, and it is a rebate on the GST and HST that you paid over the previous year, potentially up to $451 per year. If you're single, $592 per year. If you're married, it's paid quarterly. And this is also calculated at filing. But once again, it's really important that the people that are doing your taxes make sure that they apply for GST as well. And so that amount will go up and down depending on the size of your family and also your income. But once again, make sure that people are applying for GST and HST if they are doing your taxes. Next slide, please. So up next is the disability tax credit. So the disability tax credit is applied when you are filing. It's a non-refundable credit, and what it does is it reduces the amount of income tax paid by an individual or a supporting individual, so family member, such. And so what happens is there is an application process for the disability tax credit. You go, it's I think the PDF is about 4 or 5 pages. You fill it out. You then work with your healthcare provider to fill out the rest of it, and then you submit it to the government. And then once you submit it to the government, where you've done your application, the government comes back and they say either you get the disability tax credit or you don't. It works retroactively as well, so that's really important. So if you feel like you should have applied for it years ago and you go forward and you are successful in getting it, then do make sure that you do that. Now, the thing about this is that your healthcare provider may charge you for filling out the disability tax credit. That's just unfortunately what can happen, but it's very much worth applying for as a non-refundable tax credit. So the most important thing to remember is that you need taxable income for it to be really worthwhile. I mean, you can always apply, but it's best if you're actually going to get money back from it. So that would be folks who are working, who are having income tax taken off. The disability tax credit reduces the amount of income tax that you pay. One thing that is special during COVID is that there is a $600 top up to current recipients of the disability tax credit that is going out. I would need to check the exact date when that is going out. I believe it's early 2021, but I would want to double check on that. But yes, the disability tax credit bonus is out there, but the DTC process can take a bit of time. So you'll definitely want to start on that early. And if you have any questions about applying for the disability tax credit, please do be in contact with us. We do assist people with filling that out and getting them ready to the point where they can take it to their healthcare provider. Next slide, please. This credit here that we're going to talk about is the Canada Workers Benefit, which was previously known as the Working Income Tax Benefit. So this is applied for when you are filing, and it is a top-up. So it is a refundable tax credit for folks who are making, say, between $3,000 and $24,000 a year, or about $36,000 a year for families. And so this is applied when you are filing, and it is $1,355 up to $1,355 for individuals, or $2,335 for folks who have families. So once again, if that is you and you are getting your taxes done somewhere, whether it's a volunteer clinic, commercial place, or you're doing it yourself, that is another thing to check on if your income falls within that. Next slide, please. So next up is the Seniors Guaranteed Income Supplement, or the Seniors GIS. So this is paid monthly. You do need to apply for it. So once again, Hamilton Tax Help can help you fill out that application. It's actually done through Service Canada. And it is something for folks who are lower income, who are 65 or older. You also have to live in Canada and currently be receiving old age security. Seniors GIS is very important to apply for. Someone who is making less than $18,000 per year could potentially be getting up to $916.38 per month. So if you know anyone over the age of 65 who is lower income, do make sure that they look into the Seniors GIS. And once again, if they need assistance with applying for it, we are here at Hamilton Tax Help to assist with that. So looking at my notes for 1 second. Next slide here is what about COVID-related benefits and services? So that's kind of what I began with. And so there are a number of them. If we can go to the next slide. Yeah. Canada Recovery Benefit, Canada Recovery Caregiver Benefit, Canada Recovery Sickness Benefit, Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy. All of those are COVID-related benefits that are not related to tax filing. So we will not be going over those, but if you are looking to engage with those and apply for them, definitely make sure that you get onto the COVID recovery website on canada.ca, just because those are important, but they are beyond the scope of what we do at Hamilton Tax Help. But we definitely want to make sure that we address them and say, yeah, the supports are there. If you need help phoning the CRA or Service Canada, we can assist with that, but we're not currently actively engaging in the application of these 4 things, but definitely know that they're there, and go to canada.ca and the COVID recovery webpage to make sure that you know that those are there and maybe they do apply to you.